Hey, everybody, happy Thursday. We are back with another week 10.0 live stream. I'm Jonathan Crow, Director of Community at Ninja One, and this time around, I've got Senior Product Lead Stephen Murphy. And Stephen, I've been introducing a lot of the other PMs as one of my favorites and everything. Um, you're like our OG PM. You're like it all starts with you.
Well, we did plot to take over the world a little bit.
I think you're gonna quickly see some folks in the chat here. Thanks everybody for joining us. I think you're quickly gonna see some asking where your bagpipes are. That may have been a dirty rumor that still flows around. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about something that you've been working on for a long time. So, everybody, back before Steven was working for Ninja, he was a Ninja One user, and there were things that he was banging his head against the wall, wanting Ninja to implement, right, and wanting Ninja to develop. And so, as a reward, we said, "Okay, fine, Steven, you come over here and you do it." And that's just what he's done. He's come over. He's working with the other PMs and all of our devs. And Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be showing and just a little bit of background, especially around the long-term data retention, because I know it's been a long time coming.
Certainly. So this has taken, God, around about a year, I think, at this point. But basically, one of the biggest points of frustration I always had as a user was jumping on a device. You would get a phone call because, this is slow or I'm having issues with it. And by the time the user had called in, you could guarantee, you were 2 hours down the line and you'd lost all of the performance metrics that you were able to kind of look at on the device. So there was only 1 hour of retention. So one of the biggest frustration points for that was obviously, hey, we need more data. I need to be able to see this over the course of more than just an hour. I need to be able to then pivot from, hey, I'm helping a user real time or near real time into the other aspect, which is, hey, I need to predict when I'm going to run out of space. And I can't do that even with 24 hours of data. I need much longer periods of time. So obviously anyone who's seen the recent releases will notice that we've had the overhaul on the device pages. We've had updates to the graphs as it was from the old components that we used, and now we get the new shiny beautiful ones. So one of the nice lovely pieces here is that we're allowing folks to pick a period of time and you can just jump back and see what's going on all the different data points, hover over and see what it was at that specific point in time. Now, it doesn't look too bad on this device, looking at it over time. Hey, there's a couple of odd spikes out here. Was this something like a backup job going on? Maybe I could dig in and see what's going on in the activity feed. But overall, this device is pretty healthy. Now, diving down to things like the other graphs, like memory, another important piece to monitor. Again, looks pretty good. Oh, I know it's an issue here. Now, for anyone who's looking at the graph and going, hey, potentially there's a little memory leak on this device, and then it returns to normal after a reboot, that would certainly be one of the things I would be looking at. And this just extends to every graph as we go down this point. Obviously, the furthest we can go out is 90 days, and you can get a pretty good level picture of, hey, there's a performance problem here or not. Obviously, there's less data the further you look out, and you can kind of get that nice balance and dive in when you need to. Now, what you'll see is something like the following. Because it is an average and there was a super specific spike here at a point in time, you'll see that by the time you jump out to the 30 days, it's greatly reduced because it was literally a couple of minutes. So it's one of those things where average is a nice thing to have. If it's consistent, you'll continue to see that blip, but over time, obviously, it's a lesser impact. So yeah, it's been a lovely project to bring to the table, Jonathan. A lot of hard work went into this one from the team.
So let's step back and clarify too. I mean, a lot of the features that we're sharing this week that we're highlighting that are introduced with 10.0 or opened up into general usage in 10.0. Do people need to reach out to their account managers in order to get access to this to basically have this turned on, or is this just ready to go for everybody?
It's a bit of both. So if you want it now, you can reach out to your account manager. They're able to turn it on. There's no restrictions behind that or having to reach out to me personally to say, hey, can I switch this on? What we're doing in the back end from engineering's perspective is we're scaling up people having access to this. So for example, I think we enabled like 6,000 accounts today alone. And basically, we're going to roll it out to everyone. We're going to hit around about 80% utilization across the accounts, and then we'll finally go GA in the next release.
I see. Okay, so if you want to have, you're watching and you want to not wait, you want to go ahead and dive right in and have access to this, reach out to your account manager. If you don't know who that is, if you are a member of our Discord, which you should be, I sound like a broken record, Steven. You can reach out to me, join it, ping me, and or the community team. And thanks, Robin. And you can just ask us, and we'll help you figure it out. But then otherwise, 11, which for those of you who have been watching throughout the week, you already know this, but here we're talking about 10.0. Steven in his mind is thinking through 12 and 13 already. 11 is actually going to be, I think we're talking November, December. It's right around the corner already. There'll be yet another release with new updates. But yeah, I'm curious if there's anyone who's watching who has, have you had access to this? Have you been poking around at all? Is this something that you have any questions about, any specifics? And Andrew, right on cue. Thanks for asking this. So Andrew says, love the long-term data retention feature. Question, will it be expected when selecting period that all affected filters would set to the same period CPU, memory, disk activity, etc.?
No, I haven't deliberately linked them, mainly because people are jumping up and down this page as I've seen on many demos, many kind of conversations I've had with customers. So when I was chatting around with folks, they weren't kind of strong either way. So I've left them unlinked for now. If we get enough feedback, I'm happy to come back and revisit it.
And Steven, what's the, I think you may have covered this in the drop downs and everything, but we're talking long-term. How long-term are we talking?
In terms of being able to go back to different data points?
Yes, exactly.
90 days, you get roughly a data point per day at that point.
Rashid has a great question. This is one that comes up often. How do you know which version that you're on?
So I'm on a Mac machine at the moment, but I'm just holding control and then leading over to the Ninja One logo at the top left. And basically when you're on there, what you want is the web version, which is 10.0.20 in this case for the EU.
Awesome. Any other questions, everybody? Because we have this, and then we also are going to talk about maintenance mode. Was there anything else you wanted to highlight, Steven, specifically around the long-term data retention?
No, it looks really simple. In the back end, it's really not simple. And it's lovely conversations to have when you're speaking, average of sort of 10, 15 data points per device times millions of devices. So it's been a heavy lift architecturally, and it's one of those that it's been nice to see come to fruition.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm absolutely happy to jump into maintenance mode automations if we're ready.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that up, and everybody, if there's folks who join us late, or if you have a question about maintenance mode, feel free, don't be shy, just put it in the chat, and we'll come back around to it. But yeah, let's talk about maintenance mode. This is another one that has been a request for a long time, Steven.
It has been. It's definitely one I've heard a lot of voices on. And obviously, we've always had manual maintenance mode. You could put a device into maintenance and remove it from maintenance basically when you are done doing your updates or reboots or whatever you're kind of putting it into suppression for. Now, for anyone who's kind of been in the platform before, obviously you're used to this box. It's had some additions to it in terms of like automations, notification channels, etc. over the recent months. Now, there is a key difference when we dive into when we're doing automations of this form. So I'll just dive in and go, hey, we have a native automation here, and I'm just going to set it. Now, as with all automations, this can be put in scheduled tasks, policies, a reaction to a condition or compound condition. You can carve this up in the platform in any way, shape, or form you really want. Now, obviously, anyone who saw the last screen is going to look at this and go, hey, there's a lot less checkboxes. That's a deliberate design decision because we're removing the key ones that basically cause problems when you come to use it in an automation. So for example, I can't block a script on this one, but I can block the alerting, which is one of the key aspects people were asking for. Again, if I want to set this and just run a single script, I can go, hey, I want this to be, 10 minutes, for example, and then set it away. I can run this ad hoc, or I can have it running in the policy, schedule tasks, whatever. A really good use case of this is, for example, anyone who has had RDS farms where they're spinning up and down, or VMs on demand, for example, in Azure. And what you can do there is basically say, right, I'm going to shut this machine down at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. as everyone leaves. I started up at 8:30 before they get in. Just put it in maintenance mode before you shut the machine down, and suppress it for the overnight notifications. And again, this applies to things like patching, has its own dedicated section. I think Chris was on earlier in the week showing off his ability to put maintenance mode directly inside the policy as a couple of nice checkboxes. Again, the teams have built that jointly, so it's very much the same functionality. So yeah, it's a nice little wrapper, but what we can do here is obviously say, hey, I've got my specific suppressions. I want this to expire after a certain amount of time. Or if I know something is completed early, for example, I'm doing a database maintenance script or cleaning up some file space that's going to make the disks noisy for a few hours. Once it's complete, I can have the next step be the remove automation, and put it against the device at that point. And I can effectively close my maintenance window out a little bit earlier than expected. Now, there is a caveat to this. It does require the agent to be online. So you have to have the ability to run this against the agent itself. It needs to be online and connected. You need to have the whitelisting applied so we can actually send and receive commands. But as long as you've got that, it works really, really, really well.
Thank you, Stephen. We have another question from Rashid who says, and you're mentioning basically this has existed for a while in terms of being able to do so manually. And Rashid's asking, do I have to set the maintenance mode in the library manually, or is it going to be added automatically?
So I'm in production at the moment. I can set this again. I'm looking at the device view and obviously just doing ad hoc, but if I really want to, I can dive into a scheduled automation. Again, I want to set the type to native because this is a native automation. And I'm just going to search mode. So again, I can do a Windows automation to set maintenance mode. I can suppress this and have it built up. I could run 7 or 8 tasks thereafter, or just a single task and then take it out of maintenance mode once it's done. It'll run down the chain, complete. The one thing it won't do is obviously support a reboot at the moment, so you wouldn't be able to say set maintenance mode, run a script, run a reboot, and then come out of it. That's coming out in the next release.
Well, now that you've opened the door there,
the secrets that come.
Yes, can you talk about a little bit about the roadmap for this? What's kind of next for it? Is this opening the door for additional, capabilities, improvements, things?
Potentially. There's a lot of demand in this area, Jonathan. I've seen people who want, the ability to run this via API, obviously, because these are native automations, you can do that. I've also seen folks who want a nice time chart and being able to say, hey, devices are in or out in maintenance based on, if anyone's used Active Directory, there were parts like user logon times, and they want a similar kind of grid representation. Hey, this is always in maintenance mode, Monday to Friday between these hours. So yeah, potentially I just need the demand to build it, and that justification allows me to put it on the roadmap.
Wow. Well, how do people help you with that? I think we have a link we can share and pick up. Let's see.
Yeah, if you've got the product board link, certainly that goes straight to my team, and we can basically latch that on and break it out as we get the specific bits of feedback. Obviously, as we get those themes of, we've got 100 people asking for this in this area with this specific bit of functionality, that's when we really start to go, hey, we should consider putting this on the roadmap. Also, if you're chatting with your account managers, feel free to bring it up. SAs, so any of the solutions team, bring it up there. They'll be more than happy to collect that feedback and put it in.
Awesome. All right, folks. Any other questions with maintenance mode in particular? Again, Steven, I guess just to clarify, this is something that is behind a feature flag and needs to be turned on, or is this something that is GA with 10?
This one is GA with 10.
Nice. All right. Not that you all don't want to have another reason to talk with your account managers, but for this one, you don't have to. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Steven, you've been tracked down. I was the one who requested schedule maintenance mode for zero VMs.
Yeah.
Can you demonstrate that a little bit more?
So I don't want to mess up this demo environment and actually save it, so please bear with me. But yeah, what I would be doing in this regard is probably looking at the scheduled automations and basically looking at putting in, depending on how you're actually shutting this down, if it's certain days of the week or it's every day, etc. I would be doing one scheduled automation to take it out of maintenance mode in the morning at a time when you know these virtual machines will be booted up. And obviously 5 minutes before they're going to shut down, I would be putting in an automation to say, put this into maintenance at that point. So I'll just do this for an example. So because this one is going to be our shutdown, I'm just basically going to say, hey, I want this to expire after the amount of hours or never expires. I'm going to rely on doing 2 automations here, so I'm not too worried. I'm just going to do never expires at this point in time. I want to suppress notifications, the condition alerts, and the notification channels. I don't want anything hitting my PSA, ticketing system, etc. And that's great. And basically, we'll do this as a test, put in maintenance, and basically we would add that. And same again, we want to undo this in the morning, so I'm going to do this daily, and we'll do it. Let's see, we get them up at about 8:30, and away we go. Again, I'm just going to do maintenance mode. We're basically going to remove it at that time. Obviously, this is going to be environment specific. So if you've got much shorter periods of time where you start them up before folks get in, or you shut them down like 5 minutes after they leave. Again, you can do that in a different way. But again, you could fire this via a compound condition by setting a flag as the user logs off, or if you know they're going to shut a certain application or such, you can basically monitor for the events or the process disappearing. However you want to carve it up, you can basically do it for your environment. But again, I'm going to remove maintenance mode. Test. Obviously, I'm not going to save the policy because this impacts real demos. But yep, got those running. I would save that, apply it to my policy that's applying to my virtual machines, and away you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Steven. And look at you braving the configuring the demo.
just don't hit save and it's all fine, Jonathan.
There we go. We'll do it live. Okay, Cool Runnings. Great movie. Is there a way to automatically exit maintenance mode if patching gets stuck, for example?
Ooh, I would defer to Chris on this one, but yes, you should be able to run the remove maintenance mode from here. If that doesn't work, let me know. I'll have a chat with Chris and see what's going on his side.
Yeah, so Cool Runnings. We'll bug Chris about this, and we can put this on the in the comments or in the description. Excuse me, for in YouTube here after the stream is done. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just as a quick comment there,
Yeah.
Jonathan, I wouldn't expect it to get stuck, but one thing I suppose we could do is obviously when we're looking at Windows patches, basically you can set durations to max this out. I would certainly say you could use that piece. We'll have a chat with Chris and see exactly what's going on in terms of exiting when it fails. But I imagine it's being done in a secure manner so that it fails the process and then exits out of maintenance mode.
Awesome. Okay, so we have another question from Rashid. I'm laughing at Robert's comment. Any chance to add ability for Zen Orchestra manage VMs or monitors? So beyond getting kind of off into a different direction here, but good question.
So I'm assuming this is for parity, like we've got with Hyper-V and with the VMware platforms. We are seeing a decent amount of demand. I'm going to keep my comments particularly focused on this. The market seems to have shifted a little bit in this regard.
Yes.
Zen is definitely becoming one of the major players, along with Proxmox. We are recording feedback in that area. Um, I would say there hasn't been a clear winner of the situation that's been going on, Jonathan, but we're definitely seeing the demand in this area to integrate with more vendors. Nutanix as well has been mentioned.
Yes.
So yeah, we're just keeping a very close eye, and if there is a clear winner, we'll definitely be looking at can we put this on the roadmap.
Yeah, and we're grabbing a link for product board for you to be able to enter in a request. You can also see when other folks have requested this too and upvote them. But that is something that's come up throughout the week. So I think you're definitely right on to be asking about that. Okay. There was one question I want to go back to, and this is from Robert. I didn't forget about you, Robert. And this is referring back to the long term data retention. Will there be endpoints? I mean, talking about the API, right? Will there be endpoints to grab live memory usage and such in the future?
Yes, it's something I really want to build. We didn't have much demand for it when I started out. The first ask was actually building, hey, I need the data and I need it at scale over a point of time. As we're fulfilling that now, obviously we're recording feedback and keeping an eye on how many folks are asking for the API. I would say it's a subset of users. It does seem to be the power users, if I was to make a generic comment there. So there isn't as much demand as there is, for example, in the user interface like this. But I would say we've had a lot more demand to add like a download button somewhere up on the top right that would allow you to get the data points for a specific device that you're looking at. And the other area I've seen demand for is when people are looking at endpoints to compare them at scale. So they might be able to compare like 5 or 6 endpoints or do reporting in that area. So again, I'm recording this feedback. It's going off to the reporting team, and it's going off to whether or not we expand this on the API side as well.
Thanks, Stephen. I also dropped a link since we're talking about the API. I dropped a link to the documentation there for folks who have not checked it out and are interested in doing so. There's also, let's see. Yeah, I think that might be covering it. I think we got about 5 minutes left. So if anyone does have any final questions for Stephen now that you have him held captive, please don't hesitate. Let him have it. But aside from that, Stephen, anything else you wanted to cover?
I think I saw one comment there, Jonathan, about, hey, I don't have this drop down in the top right. In case you missed it earlier, reach out to myself, your account manager, SE, whoever you're chatting with on the Ninja team, they'll be able to get this activated.
Great cause, Stephen. Thanks for catching that. Yeah, always happy for. I think that expands beyond just this feature too. Anytime that there's a major release with Ninja 10.0, 11, which will be dropping in November, December, depending on what region you're in, it's always a good idea to just touch base with your account managers. And we do our best to make sure that everyone knows. We share the release notes, do webinars, do these week of streams, but always a good idea to ask them about it and ask them what's new and what they need to turn on for you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a trick to the trade as well here, Jonathan. When you're speaking to your account manager, ask for the mutual NDA. A lot of the features we do build do go into a testing phase when they're in alpha or beta, at which point we do intend to expose that to the public. The mutual NDA allows you to have kind of the discussions around those features. Again, your account manager is the best person to speak to here. You can have a chat and just say, hey, what's new this release that I could potentially test? And again, we're looking for active participants in many areas of the product.
I do have, okay, so I'm going to share a few before we close out here. Am I pointing the right way? This is going to be, here, let's drop your screen, Stephen. Yes, right above me here. There is a QR code. This will take you to product board for feature requests. I'll also replace that with our Discord QR code too. Or look at this, I can put it down here. Join the Discord. That's another place, especially once you have talked with your account manager and you've signed the NDAs. we have some channels there that you're able to then get access to, where there's a lot of discussion around some of these alpha and beta type features and capabilities. So I'd be remiss if I didn't call those things out. But Stephen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. Really appreciate this and everything that you do. You've got your fans. Look at this. Spencer giving you a shout out.
It's all right. As I was looking to the side, it was like, hey, why are my direct messages blowing up?
Oh, and Spencer also is going to give you a shout out for your Legos, which I have to agree.
I've run out of space, genuinely. I need to figure out how to reorganize this. But again, thank you everyone for following along.
Thank you, everybody. We are going to be closing out 10.0 week with one last stream tomorrow around the same time. I believe it's noon, and it's going to be with Paul Evans, who is our product manager around Mac OS. And so diving into MDM, file vault management, some other things that are going on the Mac side. So if you're a Mac shop or if you have support clients who do have Macs, it's one that's worth checking out. But Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody. This recording will be up right after we sign off here, and we'll drop some links to some of the resources we talked about in the description. So have a great one, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.